Superman and Batman vs. Aliens and Predator Comic Explored. Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Terry and this is Marvelous Videos. Batman and Superman have encountered the Predators more times than you and I might think. To begin with, both the superheroes have fought the Hunters in their personal capacities as a part of the Justice League, but in this story they face the Predators as a duo, and these Hunters are extremely different from any Predator previously encountered. Written by Mark Schultz and illustrated by Ariel Olivetti, Superman and Batman vs. Aliens and Predator is a great comic if you ever wondered how Predators and Xenomorphs would fare against superheroes. And now that Marvel is planning to introduce these two apex hunters into the mainstream comics, the subject of heroes versus epic movie monsters becomes all the more intriguing. In this video, we'll explore one of the most interesting crossovers from the 80s and take a look at a Predator colony and a Xenomorph nest that had been hidden under the Earth's surface for 14,000 years. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Now let's begin. The living fossils. Hailing from a region near the star Arcturus, which is approximately 36 light-years away from Earth, a colony ship full of predators was sent to spread the Predator empire and population across the galaxy. However, something went wrong with the guidance system of the ship. When this happened, the Predator ship was close to Earth, and although Earth was not their desired destination, they were forced to make a landing here. But this was 14,000 years ago, and Earth was in the prime of a great ice age. Naturally, the climatic conditions of Earth were not suitable for the Predators, who loved the heat and hated the cold. Initially, they did try to take off once again, but their ship had been damaged beyond the point where it could break free of Earth's gravitational pull. In addition, the bitterly cold climate was enough to kill them within a few days. So, what could they do in a world that's climatically unsuited to their needs? Well, the beastly hunters found a more hospitable refuge down below the Earth's inhospitable surface. They found a subterranean cavern under a dormant volcano, which was hot enough for the Predators to survive through the ages. This perfect hothouse came packed with nitrogen-rich air, which eased their survival. Over time, the Predators developed a new way of life, one in which the Xenomorphs they brought along for hunting rituals became a part of their new ecosystem. Sealed away from the mainstream, the Predators and their aliens had no idea whatsoever was happening on the surface, and how Earth underwent a steady geoclimatic change. However, as the long-dormant volcano in the depths of the Andes suddenly stirred to life, Batman and Superman find themselves caught in the middle of this lost subterranean colony thriving with alien life. In present times, a group of geophysicists and physical volcanologists visit the newly active volcano called Viejo Abuelo, the old grandfather of volcanoes. It had been dormant for so long that even the native Indian tribes didn't have any mention of its last eruption in their records. However, one of the crew members visiting the volcano kept looking behind his back as if he was being followed by someone or something. And it wasn't long before his worst fears came true. The scientists were slaughtered and decapitated. Meanwhile, Batman was on a mission in Gotham City when aliens of unknown origin ambushed him, but as he was already familiar with Predators, he wasn't surprised, but was worried about their presence amidst humans. On the other hand, John Henry Irons, the DC superhero Steel, informs Superman about an overheating power generator. Superman's needle of suspicion pointed at Lex Luthor, of course, but John Henry tells him that LexCorp was as clueless about the malfunctioning of the power generator as they were. Upon reaching the piece of technology, Superman finds out that the generator had been modified by someone. But Superman is shocked after realizing that the modifications were made by Predators, beasts from the far reaches of the galaxy who almost killed him once. But this time, Superman hadn't been weakened and could have taken them down with ease, but they managed to escape him. Superman returned to the Daily Planet as Clark Kent. Perry White, the editor, asked him to visit Mount Viejo Abuelo in Peru to investigate the mysterious disappearance of a few scientists who were climbing the volcano. Now, if it were me, I'd maintain some safe distance from an erupting volcano, but you know how scientists, superheroes and characters from horror movies are, they just love some action. Naturally, Clark agreed to go to Peru and take stock of the situation, and somehow Lois Lane, his wife in the comic, thought it would be a nice exotic place for a vacation with her husband. The couple reach the Andes in the southern part of Peru and hire a couple of guides. While trekking, Clark comes across a piece of fabric, but he can't recognize the components, not even with his microvision. but at that moment he hears a chopper departing after dropping off many armed men. The sounds were coming from a distance, so he couldn't make out much else. However, he asks Lois to take the guides and walk down the hill. Clark, now as Superman, flies toward the erupting volcano. He finds one of the armed men, but he's long dead with a spear in his chest. As he inspects further, he finds many more dead men, but he can't find the attackers anywhere. So, who had killed these men? Batman made his presence known and answered Superman's question, saying that the attackers had fled underneath the Earth's surface. Meanwhile, Lois Lane and the guides are attacked by the Predators. Although they decapitate the guides, Lois is spared for now. Batman recognizes the dead armed personnel as members of the Terrestrial Defense Initiative, an armed force dedicated to finding and destroying all the Predators who set foot on Earth. They tracked the Predators to Mount Viejo Abuelo, and so did Batman, which is why he was there. As the two enter the mouth of the volcano, they get attacked by Predators, but this was only the beginning. Xenomorphs arrive to slay their super guests. As Batman struggles to keep the Xenomorphs away, he's surprised to see the black aliens being pushed away by Predator weapons. But were the Predators there to rescue Gotham's Silent Guardian? Well, no. He's taken deeper inside the cavern, which is both a colony of Predators and a nest of Xenomorphs. He's brought before the leader of this Predator clan, a Predator who looks different from what we have seen so far in comics and movies. This big guy has no high-tech weapons, and surprisingly enough, he doesn't even have any trophies on him. No human skulls, nothing. However, Batman wasn't empty-handed. He'd brought his blowback modified defibrillator and knocked the Predator down. By knocking him down, Bruce had displayed an unanticipated force in a culture that valued power and cunning above all else, and this ensured that he was respected by the hunters and not considered as prey. Meanwhile, Superman hears the cries of Lois Lane being attacked and immediately leaves for her rescue. He finds that the Predators are taking his wife away and refuses to let that happen. He first channels the magma away and secures the area so that Lois doesn't get hurt. He then proceeds to take out the Predators one by one to rescue Lois. His next mission is to find Batman so that they can leave the place immediately and let the Predators face their sorry fates. But he's shocked to see Batman coming to greet him along with some of the hunters. Batman tells Superman they didn't realize Lois was your female. They apologize, and that's saying a lot for these characters, but they don't want to insult a sun spirit. So Batman had told the Predators that Superman was some kind of a sun god, and although the Predators hadn't seen the sun in 14,000 years, they still respected the yellow star. During his time with the Predators, Batman learned all he could about them and their story. However, these alien hunters were now in dire need of help. If they weren't rescued from the cavern under the volcano, they would die for no reason, and this was why they were now on the surface looking for land to settle in. However, they couldn't be left to thrive on the surface because that would mean endangering all of humanity. Having said that, however vile and violent they may be, both Predators and aliens were living beings and had a basic right to life. So Superman and Batman agreed that the best way forward was to send the Predators back to where they came from, but that would mean fixing their ship, which was now in a sorry state. But Superman was determined, and he claims, "I will bring the technology that can make it happen. I'll bring my Fortress of Solitude here." However, the volcano was not the only threat that the Predators were facing. The Terrestrial Defense Initiative officials were planning to launch a nuke into the volcano and vaporize everything that lay within. Superman returns from the Arctic Circle to southern Peru in under 15 minutes, but by now, the Terrestrial Defense Initiative has already launched a nuke at the volcano. Although the nuke hits the volcano, the Predators, Batman and Lois manage to survive. The TDI officials can't understand what exactly the Fortress of Solitude is. They think it's either a weapon or that Superman is bringing the Predators some aid. These stupid fools come to the conclusion that the TDI was called so for a reason, and that because Superman was an extraterrestrial being, it was time they took some initiative and attack him. But they couldn't be more wrong. When Superman returns to his wife and workmate, they're both dressed in traditional Yautja attire. Lois explains, "It seems like the Predators don't think we're getting out of this alive, and they consider it a great honor that I die as a member of the tribe." Clearly, the Predators are in no mood to go down easily and plan to make one last glorious break for the outside world. They want to die in honor. Superman asks Batman to get the Predators inside the Fortress of Solitude, but Batman warns him that once they're inside, all bets will be off. Superman thinks that his robotic staff will understand the Predator language and make them understand what's happening, but the Predators are minions of chaos and doom. They start destroying Superman's robots once they're inside Superman's home. Once the last of the Predators are inside, Superman expresses his desire to bring back whatever Xenomorphs he can, but Batman is firmly against the idea, knowing full well how disastrous it could be. He knows that however violent they are, the Predators can still be reasoned with to a degree, but the Xenomorphs are a different ballgame altogether. Superman replies, "They're living beings, they have a purpose, even if we can't see what it is." And he leaves to bring in whatever Xenomorphs he can, while Batman and Lois enter the fortress. Unfortunately, Superman keeps his fortress in zero gravity, and the Predators begin to lose their calm. And you can't really expect them to behave. They're called Predators for a reason. While Lois and Batman try their best to evade death at the hands of the Predators, Superman reaches a small Xenomorph nest with several Overmorphs. He freezes the creature with his icy breath and brings them inside the Predator ship. He now has just one last thing to do, pick up the damaged ship and bring it to the fortress. Once he reaches his living room, Superman finds his guests threatening his wife, and naturally, Kal-El doesn't accept it. He hits several of them, knocking them unconscious. After this, he asks his robot Kelex to activate the super robot and establishes contact with TDI so that they can be convinced not to blow up the fortress and its denizens. Superman leaves to find Batman and Lois, but they're in big trouble, as Xenomorph Queen is on the loose and she's killing Predators left, right and center. However, Batman injects some kind of anesthetic into the beasts, which puts them to rest for at least a couple of hours. Batman and Lois are lucky enough to find jetpacks because Lois is familiar with Superman's fortress, but unfortunately for them, there's still no sign of Superman. Meanwhile, Kelex activates a robot that impersonates Superman so that it can talk to the TDI. However, the talks fail and they give a window of 1 hour to leave the volcano, otherwise a nuclear strike will go ahead. Kelex informs Superman of this, who makes it his primary goal to find Lois and Batman. Elsewhere, Batman and Lois get attacked by the Xenomorph Queen, and although Superman reaches them just in time to save Lois, Batman is taken away by the Queen. While on their search for Batman, Lois constantly claims that they're going either in circles or they're just lost. However, Superman knows his house very well. In reality, the fortress is a tesseract. You may have heard the term in the MCU, or maybe if you're a science geek, but for those of us who aren't, a tesseract is basically a four-dimensional shape. In other words, what a cube is to a square, a tesseract is to a cube. The containment sphere is just a reference point for accessing the tesseract, which in itself is a massively huge undeveloped universe in its own right. To help us understand this better, we humans have divided the Earth into latitudes and longitudes. These help us in finding reference points which make the calculation of distance much easier. But Earth's geography is limited and not ever expanding. However, the limit of Superman's fortress is figuratively pretty huge, perhaps equal to the area covered by a galaxy, if not more. Anyway, Superman once again reaches Batman just in time to save him. But the strength of the Xenomorph Queen is displayed when Superman's suit is torn by one simple swing of the Queen's powerful tail. Back at the containment chamber, the Predators have regained consciousness and are battering the crap out of Superman's robots. Superman could have done something rash like slaughtering all of the Predators without breaking a sweat, but he's not a ruthless murderer. He asks Batman if he has any more of the compound that can take down the Predators, and the Silent Guardian has just the thing. Although, I have to admit that the Silent Guardian has been far from silent in this comic. Batman gives the formula to Kelex, who analyzes and duplicates it to pump through the ventilation system, and within seconds all the Predators lose their consciousness. But there's another hiccup, and a pretty nasty one at that. The fortress's anti-gravity system has failed and there's no time for repair because the TDI are going to launch the nuke in about 3 minutes. This means that they now have to manually give the ship enough power to break the threshold of Earth's gravitational force. To achieve this, Superman flies the fortress up and above, giving it enough velocity. Meanwhile, Batman takes control of the Predator ship. When the escape velocity is achieved, Kelex opens the doors of the fortress and Batman flies the ship out into space. He exits the ship using the emergency escape and free falls back to Earth. However, Superman saves him just in time. Back on Earth, Superman and Batman discuss superhero ethics. While Superman believes that no life should be taken no matter how dangerous, Batman argues that he only promised to spare human life. However, Kelex tells them that had the nuke hit and destroyed the Predator ship, it would have started a chain reaction of massive explosions that could have annihilated not just humanity, but everything else on Earth. It seems that the better nature of the superhero saved Earth yet again. And if you enjoyed our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.